Hi, everyone, and welcome to episode 26 of the Get Hitched live wedding chat show. As usual, I'm your host. My name is Alberta. Today, we're going to be talking with Rosabelle Pavia, who is a soprano, actually a gazetted soprano. She has experience in wedding masses, musical program. She's a musical program organizer. So this is going to be a very interesting show. This is a first show again with a soprano on Get Hitched. As usual, while I invite Rosabelle in, I'd like to let everyone know. First off, thank you very much for watching all the shows and the continuous support that we've been getting from people planning their weddings and all their events, as well as the suppliers that we've been working with. And I do hope that we can continue helping and supporting, even over and above, and hopefully into next year, to have a better outcome for everyone. In the meantime, I'd also like to explain for anyone that is new that is watching the shows, Get Hitched is a matchmaker where basically, if you're looking to plan your wedding, you simply go to gethitched.com.mt. You fill in a very, very simple 3-step process. So step 1, I'm getting married on this date, thinking of having X amount of people. And then you're able to say, okay, listen, I'm looking for a wedding mass singer. I'm looking for a venue, a florist. I will be able to get you quickly and easily connected to the suppliers based if they're actually available even on your date or available to cater for the budget that you have set. We'll be here to help, so you can contact us on Facebook, through contact forms on our website, and even our contact number 20330096. In the meantime, I'm going to invite Rosabelle into the stream for us for today. Hi, Rosabelle.
Hello.
Hi, how are you?
Fine, thank you.
Super, super. First off, thank you very much for accepting the invitation to today's show.
It's a pleasure.
It's interesting to have somebody like you with the experience and the background you have, because this is a new topic for us on the show.
I see.
But first off, perhaps even for our viewers to know and understand, if you could explain a bit who you are and how you started in the industry, following into specifically weddings as a soprano.
Mm. I started off in the music industry, musically at a very young age. I was a flute player, and then I started to take part in choirs, and they realized that I had a voice. And I went to Miss Antoinette Meggiani. She was the most
Yes.
famous soprano on the island at the time, and she accepted me. And I started having lessons, and then I continued with a Welsh teacher. She was Arios Thomas Jones, and then I had Madame Dobreva from Bulgaria,
Okay.
and then I even went to master classes with Juliet Bizazza in Milan, and even in Malta.
Wow. So it's
Yes.
not just based in Malta, but you've actually gone around the world, increasing your experience and always growing your voice and knowledge on how to build the programs and so.
Yes, to learn, you have the voice, but you have to learn the technique, the projection, and how because classical singers, we do not use a mic. You have, for example, you have to fill the cathedral. You have to fill it without any mic. We learn to project, and that is
I
a
see.
technique you have to learn. You are gifted with a voice, but you have to learn the technique of how to project and enlarge it, and then you learn how to do the innuendos and the volume you increase and decrease. When you sing, they say she's singing her heart out. You learn those
It's
things.
literally singing the heart out.
Uh-huh. And then I started taking part in operettas, concerts, operas with international singers. And, and then obviously people start asking you to take part in their wedding, to sing in their weddings. And I started off at a very young age as well, singing in weddings. And it's been going on since then. In fact, now I'm singing to the children of the people I sang in weddings.
Wow. Amazing. And you do both. I mean, even though you are Gozitan, but you do a lot of weddings based in Malta as well, right?
Of course, traveling over now isn't such a problem. I'm booked. I make sure that I'm there in good time. If I see if the weather is slightly not good, I go there before. I have my kids in Malta. I stay over at them, so it's not a problem at all.
Perfect. And you get some family time a little before as
Yes,
well.
Yes.
Now there's different types of how to even have your voice or your experience as a soprano, solely or also with different instruments like with a harp or with an organ.
Mhm.
But how how do people come to managing to decide on which instrument they should have or which type of voice for their wedding ceremony?
Well, first and foremost, they have to decide whether they want a classical type of music, of singing and music, obviously, which is my genre of music, or if they want to have pop music or this modern type of music. If they want classical music, obviously they have to go for a soprano or a tenor or a mezzo.
Okay.
Now, with this type of voice, you have to have certain instruments. Okay, we can sing with a synthesizer. Why not? But the best effect would be with a harp. If you want a dreamy type of wedding, you will opt for a harp. And you can add on a violin. If you want a triumphant royal wedding, you get an organ with a trumpet. Uh,
Okay.
and if you want an uplifting ceremony, you can have an organ and a violin. If
Okay.
you want a classical music type of music for your wedding, you can have then the quartet. Nothing beats a string quartet.
Okay. All right. Okay. Super. In the meantime, I am going to put a comment up we have from Ben Vincenti. Good afternoon. So, hi, Ben. Thank you for watching the show. And I do want to tell everyone else that is watching the show, please do feel free to come tell us hi. And perhaps you've already worked with Rosabelle. Any feedback, you're in the industry yourself. I mean, we're all open ears to even discuss and talk about all different situations and any information you have for us today. You've slightly explained for us now with the instruments,
Mhm.
but there's also the job of actually pairing the voice. So, how do you go about managing to pairing the voice? To like, do people come telling you, "Listen, I want by force an organ," and then you have to try and fix and work about to adjust your voice to that, or how does it work between you and the couple?
It depends. Like I said, we don't use a mic. So if I'm singing with just with the organ only, no problem. Unless it's a huge church, I can manage without a mic. And even for example, in Gozo, the biggest church we have is the one at Chowkia. I have sung there without a mic. And
Well
in
done.
Gozo, and in Malta at Mosta Church, which is renowned for its, it's not a really easy church to sing in. But then if you have the trumpet with the organ, you need a mic because the trumpet will, it will overshadow the voice.
I see.
If I'm singing with the harp, no problems. It's only when you have the organ and the trumpet. And in small churches, I can do without a mic. But in other church, in if it's a big church, I need a mic. Otherwise,
Okay.
with the quartet, with the organ, it's always without a mic.
Okay.
And you
Okay.
and we have the capability of increasing the volume or decreasing. We
Okay.
adapt to the situation. You see, that's
Very
part of
good.
the training we get.
Very good. Very good. Do couples normally come to you with already an instrument in mind, or they leave it to you to start building sort of like a repertoire or
Mhm.
understanding a bit more? As I
Well,
don't know, I would have no idea really if like I'd say, okay, listen, I want somebody to fill like with their voice, but that's as much as I can understand, and I'm sure there's hundreds of couples in the same boat as me.
we discuss. I ask them what type of wedding they have in mind, and then I can suggest if they tell me, I want something very, very classy, we go for the harp or the quartet. And then we hear excerpts from my CDs, and then they sort of, okay, well, shall we have this and we can have that. And it also depends on the budget because certain instruments are more expensive. For example, the harp is not, you can't compare the expense of the harp with the organ because the
Okay.
instrument itself is. So it depends on what they want and their budget as well.
I understand. I understand. We do have actually another comment here, Rosabelle, for you. I am going to put it up on the screen from Justine Bujeya.
Hmm.
Thank you, Justine, for watching the show, and thank you for your lovely comment. I am going to read it out to you as it doesn't fit in the screen for us. So I have been to a few weddings where Rosabelle Pavia performed as as a soprano soloist. She always gave an outstanding presentation, and through her singing, Rosabelle connected emotionally with her audience. I highly recommend her. And the
Oh,
smiley face. So
thank you.
amazing. Thank you very much for that
Thank
lovely
you.
comment, Justine. And even if you have any questions or comments, please do put them in while during the show for Rosabelle, and even anything that perhaps we might be missing for our audience today.
Hmm.
I don't know if there's anything else that we should add with pairing of your voice and the different instruments. Before I go into the next questions I have for you.
Well, I think we covered it all because it depends on what they want, what the couple wants. And obviously, sometimes they want an instrument and it's not, if they leave it too late. Sometimes, for example, we want the harp and the harpists are not available because you have to do book before to get the musicians you wish for, you see?
Yes, of
Uh-huh.
course. And
Hmm.
this was actually a question I have for you a little later, like even how, with regards to booking, like the particular like music and for the ceremony. But before that, and before we go into other things, like, do you have a particular favorite instrument you enjoy pairing your voice with?
Well, the harp. I have
Yes,
a soft spot for the harp, yes. Yes.
amazing. All right. Is
And
there
I
any
got,
particular reason though that you
yes,
choose the harp?
because I took part in the Aida, the opera Aida, as the
Okay.
Grande Sacerdotessa, and there is a certain part when we are off stage, the harpist and the singer. We were on off stage, and we were doing. It's a sort of hymn that the Egyptians are praying to the Allah, and
Okay.
it's called Possentefta. And it was such a beautiful experience that I remember it every time. It was
Amazing.
something I can never forget. Yes.
Amazing, amazing, very good.
Yes.
I do also believe because I mean, there's only X amount of people that play the harp or organ here in Malta. So I do believe that you guys are quite well built as a family as well between you all, right?
Yes, yes, we get to know each other. We have to coordinate together. We're like family at times. You get working together, and we do enjoy it. We all of us love music, so that is the common factor. And when we are together, you can feel the synergy, and it's amazing. Sometimes I say, but it was tremendous. I never expected this to be so good. You go out of a wedding and you say, this was fantastic. We
Amazing.
always do our best. That is the first principle. But sometimes it just clicks so well.
Amazing, amazing. I'm sure, especially since you're always dealing with the same group of people, then you're slowly always building the rapport between you,
Yes,
and that you're
yes,
always in better sync between you. Even just for couples, it's even easier for them to just rely on you, perhaps, to then build the whole
exactly.
picture.
Yes, they just contact me, and then I take care of the whole thing. So they are free to they don't have to worry. I do all the bookings and everything for them.
Amazing, amazing. I have another comment here again, which is also quite long, so I'm going to read it out to you, Rosabelle. First off,
Hmm.
thank you, Katrina Pavia, for watching the show, and thank you for your comment. I have been in several concerts and weddings where soprano Rosabelle was performing, always an outstanding ovation, her voice accompanied by piano and harp, synchronized perfectly. She sings from the heart. Amazing. Your love from many different areas, I can tell, Rosabelle.
Hmm. Thank you, Katrina.
Thank you. So I am going to push into the next question I have for you. And this falls now with the couples, even with choosing the different pieces that you play in the ceremony. Like, how do you go? Do you have something prepared for them, sort of like a repertoire, basically, to start building, or are there even certain things people perhaps should be careful of when building this with you?
Well, first and foremost, I have a sort of program especially for the wedding mass. We go over it together. It's at the times when the excerpts of the singing are going to be done, like when the couple are going in. Normally we do the Ave Maria, then there is the Alleluia, then there is the rings, the giving of the exchanging of the rings, offertory, those specific spots. We go over them, and sometimes people tell me, for example, like the Messiah, the Holy Father, in Maltese Messirna. Some people want it, others don't want it.
Okay.
So I think that's the only piece that people have an option. Otherwise, all
It's
accepts
always
the.
the same, but then perhaps varying between English and Maltese.
As regards the excerpts, that is the time when they are done.
Okay.
Then about the pieces, I have a list of my repertoire.
Okay.
And we go, for example, for the entrance, there are about 3 Ave Marias. Then
Okay.
there
All
are
right. Okay. So they can
for the
even.
different areas, you have different, about 6 or 7 items, it depends. And we go over them together, and they say, oh, why, they then identify, like, for example, they see the wedding march. Oh yes, we want that at the end of the mass. They see the wedding, like, you by my side, da 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 da. Most people identify with that because they hear it a lot on the radio. At least before, they used to do that. Nowadays, not a lot. I was going back. They
Don't
used
worry,
to
it's fine.
they used to play it in anniversaries on the radio. And so we build item by item, and finally we end up with a repertoire for their specific mass. I print it, and then I give it to the musicians. I prepare the music sheets for everybody,
Okay.
and then we meet. We have a rehearsal at home. Sometimes we have to rehearse in the church. It depends, and we're done.
Oh,
And we will
wow.
be there.
So it's not just meeting up, okay, I'm going to come sing at your wedding, and then you just show up on the day.
No, no, there is a lot of preparation involved. You have to
Very
get the
good.
people who are to play with you, uh, and then I have to prepare the music sheets and everything. Obviously, I send a program. I print a program for the couple so that they are aware that what they have chosen is there. And sometimes they even print it on their, they do a booklet. They print
Okay.
it. They
They
print
print so people
the
know
names of the arias in the specific slot of the mass.
how sweet.
And yes, there is. It's amazing how many things you have to do. I do it quite naturally because it's I've been doing it for a long time. But when you think about it, there is a lot of things to do.
We actually have a request for you, from Ben
Ah,
Vincenti to sing us a piece. Rosabelle, I don't know if you'd like to sing a small piece for us while we're live.
Hallelujah, 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 hallelujah. Is that enough, Ben?
Amazing. You can go on all the way if you'd like for the whole 40 minutes of the program. Thank you very much for that. That was beautiful, Rosabelle. Thank you, Ben, for the request. I should have thought of this before. While we're there as well, we do have another comment for you here from Carmen de Guara. Again, another
Carmen.
long one. I've known Rosabelle Pavia Soprano for a long time. She even sang at our wedding. How sweet. Okay.
Yes.
Moreover, I heard her sing many times, even in concerts. Her performance has always been outstanding. Her voice is amazingly beautiful, and her dictation is very clear. It is always a joy to work with her, and she is very, very professional.
Thank you, Carmen.
Amazing.
And it's always a joy to work with you. She is one of my former organ players. She is a
Amazing.
wonderful person. Thank you, Carmen.
Perfect. Thank
Looking
you,
forward
Carmen.
to be with you again.
Yes, hopefully soon. Hopefully the situation improves that we can start, continuing and having the normal amount of weddings that we had last year, and continue
Yes.
because I mean it's been a bit of a year. Um I also have a comment here from Ben for you. Amazing. I loved it. Thanks.
You're welcome, Ben.
Issa, again, like we sort of stopped a bit, but I don't know if there's anything else you'd like to add with how couples choose the pieces. But I'm mostly imagining this is best that couples contact you. You set a
Mhm.
meeting. I don't know if you're preferring face to face or online meetings with people, and you start
Both are
explaining.
fine. Both are
Very good.
fine. I prefer when we meet, but at this time, as things are now, we can do it online. It doesn't matter. It works just the
Easier.
same, like we're
We
doing
take
now,
the
no?
drive time. Exactly, exactly, like we're doing right now.
Yes.
One of my questions I had for you was with regards to length of your performances.
Mhm.
Is there like a particular length that you go for?
You have to adapt because
Okay.
you can't have too many pauses. For example, the priest is doing his thing on the altar, we're singing.
Yeah.
If he's ready, you can't continue singing and leaving him there,
Okay.
standing by waiting. That's a no-no. So we have to cater for the specific lengths of the activity going on. Then there are certain times, like when they're giving like the peace giving, you can't control because sometimes they do it quickly, sometimes they take ages. So that is when we do just musical instruments. So that I am on the lookout when I see them going back to their place. I sign to the musicians and they find a way to end the music. But
Okay.
otherwise, the main thing to keep in mind is to have as long as the activity on the organ on the altar is going on, you sing. Once the priest is ready, you
You
finish.
stop. We don't
Yes.
leave the priest waiting.
No.
Very, very important.
Yes.
I do have another question for you, just off my mind. I mean, is it just actual mass ceremonies that you're requested to play out, or have you also attended to perform even in civil ceremonies, for example, on the side?
Yes. Civil ceremonies I have done.
All
Yes.
right.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
And sometimes I'm asked to do spot singing during the wedding reception. And I
Uh-huh.
do, yes, especially when there is an Italian element in the family. They tend to ask me to go to do about a spot of 20 to 30 minutes Italian and Neapolitan songs, which they are my favorite.
Really? Oh, interesting. I'd love to tell you to sing us a small piece of an Italian one of your favorites. Up to you if you want to go for it.
Vedi amore quanto bello, spira tanto sentimento, come occhi tiene mente, ma se tu io
Wow.
penso no.
I actually know this song. I've actually heard it before. I don't know if I've heard it on the
It's
radio, but
Torna Soriento,
amazing. That
yes.
was beautiful. I actually got shivers. It's probably because I have my headphones on as well, so I heard it at
Oh,
full
you heard them
capacity.
very close. I love singing those songs. They're beautiful. They're beautiful. In
I
fact,
think,
every June, this is the second year I've done it at the Abraham's Vigna Capricci. We do a dinner on the rooftop while it is on the eve of St. Peter and St. Paul's feast in Nadu,
okay.
and from the rooftop there you can see the display of fireworks, and
Ah,
we do these type of songs. The year before I had George Cormier Pusse and his and Yuri on the organ, and last year I had Johnny Cash on the guitar and his group, and we do these repertoires, and we did a lot
fun.
of Maltese as well.
Super.
Such fun. It's such fun. I really do. For me, it's a big boost. My husband
Exactly.
tells me, "You're high." I can tell you are high.
It's lovely, especially when you get that high out of such beautiful moments and beautiful experiences. Then, yes, I
Mhm.
mean, all for it.
Yes.
I am drawing up to the last two questions I have for you today, Rosabelle.
Mhm.
One of which was with regards to couples booking your particular service. Is there a particular time frame beforehand to give you like the time to start preparing, or can like a person book you from a month before, sort of?
Well, it can work both ways. Sometimes
Okay.
they book me from 2 to 3 years before, which
Wow.
makes me a
Okay.
bit frightened, but it happens. And then sometimes they come, like last month, I had a couple who came 3 weeks before their wedding because the lady who was in charge of whom they had booked had something else important cropped up, and she
Okay.
couldn't do it. And I was free, so I could do it. We managed to. They wanted a certain instrument, we couldn't find it. It was booked, so we went for something else. But they ended up very very satisfied.
Amazing.
Normally, as I'm saying, they do book about at least a year in advance. But you can never tell because there are always those empty slots which. And then we try to find the musicians that are available because that
Uh-huh.
is the main thing. You have to find the musicians that you really would like to have with you.
So giving you a bit of more time always helps, as like that way you're able to completely offer them, because there's X amount of harpists at the end of the day in
As
Malta.
well, yes, yes. And even organists, it's not every organ player that you can sing with, you see,
And
because
I
it is a technique.
yes.
Whoever plays a piano or an organ isn't a good accompanist.
Okay.
That is another technique altogether. They have to breathe with you. If you're
Okay.
not used to accompanying people, you can be the most excellent of musician. But if you're not used to accompany, it's difficult to sing with,
Okay.
you see.
Okay. And
Mhm.
you mostly play with organs, with like, have you played with people with the violin, for
But
example?
not alone. There is
Okay.
always, you have to have the harp or the organ.
Those
And
are
then
the
they will,
two main.
yes. And then
Okay.
you can play with, you can have the violin added on, or you can have a string quartet, because then you have the whole harmony.
Shebang.
Uh-huh, uh-huh, uh-huh.
All right. And are there any other instruments that are quite particular, perhaps, that you've also paired your voice with?
Well, then you can have a small orchestrina.
Yes.
Sometimes we've had about 15 people playing. It depends on what the couple wants and their budget, obviously.
Yes. And
Uh-huh.
even how fond, I guess, they are even of this music style.
As well, that is important. First and
Okay.
foremost, you have to start off, I want that type of music. And then you start looking in that direction.
Do you normally get the couples coming to look for this, or perhaps is it the parents that come and say, listen, you have to have
No,
this? So it does come from the couples that
couple,
we
yes,
still have
yes.
this tradition.
And normally it's either because they have heard you somewhere before, or you are recommended to them by, for example, the photographer or the videographer,
Okay.
because the people in this industry appreciate when they have good singing, for example, because then they have a lot of their job done. Otherwise they will have to do background music from other sources, you see.
Yes.
So if you have good music at the wedding mass, you can use that actually,
Yes.
because I
Creates also the memory, that experience you're able to actually re re-experience it in your mind when you're watching your wedding video. It's not just looking at a song that is paired with your video, but you
no,
can actually recreate that memory in your mind, that
because
feeling
you're
when you
hearing
were.
everything.
Exactly. This is the same as sense, which, I mean, we say we have the senses, you smell, you taste, you hear.
Mhm.
They're all senses that create that memory, to create
That's
quite a
it.
unique. And that's how then people say, oh wow, from that wedding, then definitely I want to have that again.
And in fact, some couples for whom I have sung before, they we meet at a wedding and they tell me, you brought back lots of memories of our wedding because we are just singing and we went back to that time. So that's
Amazing.
yes,
How
yes.
beautiful.
Hmm.
Um, my last question, Rosabelle, for you today is really, I just wanted to ask for advice that you might have for perhaps musicians in your field, or our general audience, couples getting married.
Hmm. Well, as I was saying, they have to decide what type of genre of music they want, if it's classical or modern or whatever, and go for it. To leave to if they have professionals taking care of what they have chosen, they can be relaxed and enjoy
Yeah,
their feast. Um, from here, I would like to augur all the couples watching this good luck and best wishes, and do enjoy your day because it's something that will be there forever. Then, no.
of course, of course. That's
Yes.
beautiful. I think that's really perfect, because sometimes we might get over thinking in the preparation, and then some couples might forget to actually enjoy on the day. And that's why you have perhaps an organizer or your best friends making sure that everything is in order. Even with the situation that we have right now, there are beautiful sit down weddings that are happening, more
Yes, yes.
intimate. I don't know if you've played at any intimate small weddings at the moment.
Yes, I had one about 2 weeks ago,
Okay.
and there were, in fact, and it wasn't a big church, and there weren't a lot of people, but it was filled to the best capacity of this moment, and it was still a beautiful wedding.
Of course, of course.
Yes, and in fact, it was very intimate because obviously then the people that were there, they were the closest the couple had. So it was
Exactly.
ultra.
So there's more love, I guess, you know. I
Yes,
mean,
you feel that.
there's always going to be beautiful points, even just talking with different suppliers, how they tell you the experience of a sit down. There is much more attention, as in you have more time to actually speak, communicate,
Yes,
have that one-on-one with each different person, and
and
you
you're
really
sitting
have
down.
to
Yes,
have your
when
loved
people are
ones.
of a certain age, they appreciate that they're sitting down
Exato. Added bonus. I mean, even for us, I mean, like
with the
wearing
high
your
heels.
heels all
Ah,
evening, you know, tipo, oh,
hmm,
I think it's amazing to get to sit down and have a nice meal and drink. And then when you end up standing up, then you're feeling like, wow, okay, I think I might have had too many glasses of wine.
exactly. Yes.
I guess that's a wrap for today's show. I've covered
I
all the
enjoyed it.
questions that I had for you. Yes, thank you very, very much for being on the show for us. I
It
don't know
was
if
a
you have any
pleasure.
final words for our audience.
Just enjoy your day. Again, I repeat, it's the best thing that could be done.
Super,
Okay?
super. Thank
Thank
you,
you,
thank you
Alberta.
very, very much, Rosabelle, and I hope to see you very soon.
Same here. Bye
See you.
bye.
Bye. There you have it, guys. Episode 26 of the Get Hitched Live Wedding Chat Show. We had Rosabelle Pavia, who's a soprano. She gave a bit of an explanation with different repertoire, different instruments, specifically for wedding ceremonies, be it if you're doing it in a mass or even if you're doing just a civil ceremony. We've had a lot of beautiful comments from our audience today. Thank you very, very much for putting in your comments. Please do continue watching our shows. We enjoy having you, we enjoy speaking with you. And I do hope to see you guys soon. See you next time. Bye bye.